Hello everyone, I hope you're having a great day. Thanks for joining me. Now I'm excited to share with you the October Card of the Month Club kit from Spellbinders. This is so neat. If you are a kit subscriber, this is how your kit arrives. It's a very thin box, which I really appreciate because you can stack them and it doesn't take up too much room. But let's take a look at everything that comes in this month's kit. You get 7 pieces of cardstock. They're 8.5 by 11, and these are textured. I don't know if you can tell, but you get white, blue, green, yellow, or yellow, pink, and I'm kind of going out of order, black, and then a navy blue. So you get 7 in total, and like I said, they are textured, which is nice. You also get a double-sided sheet of the copper foil specialty cardstock, and then in all of the Spellbinders kits, you get 10 envelopes, which is lovely, and then 10 pre-scored and folded A2 size card bases, all ready to go for you. Now, you also get a 6x6 paper pad, tons of beautiful pattern papers in here, and a lot of the papers have some copper foiling accents. Let's take a quick look. Beautiful watercolor effects, beautiful florals. Here's a copper accent with polka dots. You get some two-tone, more watercolor. This is a gorgeous paper pad. I was so happy. And there's 2 sheets of each in here. The nice thing, I don't know if you're new to the Spellbinders kits or if you're a previous member, normally it comes with 8.5 by 11 pattern papers. So the 6x6 paper pad is great because of the scale size. So I was so excited about this. This is called watercolor. And again, you get 2 sheets of each. Also in this month's kit, you get this sticker sheet. It coordinates beautifully with your pattern papers. You get 4 of the 3D stickers, a sheet of sentiment strips, and then these are clear stickers. So if you remove them, it's a clear backing. So you get that little pack there. You also get some epoxy buttons. These coordinate with your papers beautifully also. There's foam adhesive on the back, so you just peel and stick them. And then you get this little pack here. Now you get 5 tags, and they're all embellished with gold, or not gold, copper foiling. A lot of sentiments on there also. And then you get 7 of these journaling tags. Journaling tags are great for scrapbooking. They are great for card making because of the size, and of course they're great for journaling. But there's some just patterned, and then some have sentiments. So that's a nice little option. Now you get this huge pack of ephemera pieces, and they're the watercolor ephemera pieces, and they coordinate with your stickers, your papers, and your, well, everything. They are gorgeous. I love the copper foiling. I want to show you everything that you get with the ephemera. I love that the leaves are separate. You get butterflies. You get this little pretty circle sentiment, and there's 2 of each one of these, which makes it great. Because if you want, for leaves, for example, if you have a flower and you want 2 leaves on your project, that option's there. You get tons of sentiments. Some have fishtail banners, some are just straight. But again, they have a few have copper accents and some don't. So if you like sparkle, that's fantastic. And if you want it to be matte looking, that's options there too. That tag there actually has a little heart in the center that you could punch out. Kind of goes with the sentiment. But so much in this kit, and I love the color palette. It's just wonderful. Some houses here. You get a mason jar. You get some tickets, lots of tickets that have cute little sentiments like free hugs, and then some also sentiment strips. They're in different colors. So that's the ephemera. Lots and lots. I'm still going here. Okay, we'll just put this back in the bag so I don't lose any of the pieces, and then we'll move along. You also get the stamp set here. It is a fantastic stamp set. There's 1 sentiment on there, and then you get some beautiful floral images. Now, they're not acetate stamps, they are rubber stamps, but they stamp beautifully. You get the floral images, the leaves, the atrium, and the sentiment says, "You helped me grow." You also get some pom-poms, some pom-pom ribbon, not really ribbon, but nice little accent. You get a small bag of copper sequins, and then a small bag of the silver twine. And then we get to take a look at the dies, which I was so excited about because this creates the most cutest house ever. Oh my goodness. I'm going to create 5 projects today, and so I'm going to show you how I use this die. But you get the house base, you get the roof. The roof has embossed detail, which is wonderful. How cute is that little picket fence? And you get 3 windows. 2 of them are the same. And you get 2 doors. One has embossed detail. The other one, I think, just cuts out the door. And then you also get a large feather. You get a sentiment that says celebrate. You get 2 flowers, and then a small little leaf, and then this smaller feather here, and then this little piece I believe goes in the center of the flowers. You get this little corner bracket that if you put 2 together, it creates a nice little square. And then, of course, as always, you get some dimensional adhesive. And then you get some double-sided tape. Everything you need to create with this kit is there for you. In fact, I like to take this when we go on our little mini vacations because everything's included, and all I have to do is throw in some scissors and glue, and I can create in the hotel room. I can even, believe it or not, I've crafted on the road. That's what a diehard I am. But it's a great kit for that. So we're going to do some projects. We're going to jump in with card number 1. I'm going to take these 2 pattern papers. I'm going to trim down a 2 1/4 inch strip of this beautiful watercolor stripes. And then I'm going to take this strip and cut out a 1 inch strip. I wanted to mat this pink pattern paper on some white cardstock, so I'm just going to trim out a slightly larger piece. Now this white cardstock is the same exact cardstock as your card bases, so it's great for layering, and I like that they included an extra white sheet. I'm going to grab my card base, make sure it's opening the right way. They're side folding card bases. I'm going to go ahead and use my tape and adhere this panel to my card base. Now everything I use today, guys, I am going to be using just the contents of the kit. Now I did run out of my foam tape, so I did bring in a little bit of mine because I like to mention, and I could use lots more. And then I did bring in some glue because I wanted to glue down my sequins, and glue works best for that because they are so little. And also for the die cut of the picket fence. Okay, I'm going to fishtail the end of this pattern paper, and I'm going to mat it on my white cardstock. Just makes it stand out a little bit more against that watercolor background. I'll go ahead and fishtail the end of my white cardstock, leaving a little bit of a white border, and then take some more of my double-sided tape, and we'll just add some to the back of our banner. We'll go ahead and place this on our card base, and then for this card we're going to use some ephemera pieces. I chose these pieces here, which are just gorgeous. They really go well with that pattern paper that we first adhered. For this one, I'm going to add some of the double-sided tape too. I'm not going to press down until I know that's where I want it, because this way I can move it a little bit. And then for this floral image, I'm going to pop up with some of the dimensional adhesive. Lovely. I'm going to add a piece to each one of these smaller flowers. And then I'm going to grab a sentiment. I'm going to use the sentiment stickers here. For this one, I chose a sentiment that says, "Be happy, be bright, be you." And I'm going to use my scissors to cut it out because it kind of stuck a little bit and I didn't want to tear it. And so scissors, I just trimmed it out. Now, since the stickers were on the thinner side, I'm going to attach it, I'm going to mat it on a piece of white cardstock to give it a little bit more stability. Lovely. Now we'll go ahead and add some, I'm just going to cut out a strip off of this foam square sheet here. Remove the release paper and add that to our card base. We'll add our smaller flowers, just kind of tucking them under the sentiment, and then this one I think we're going to put towards the top. And then for our butterfly, I'm just going to add one piece of the foam tape right in the center, and then I'll fluff up the wings. I love doing this with butterflies. Okay, now for bells and whistles, we're just going to grab 3 of the sequins. This is where I brought in my glue. I'm going to add 3 little dots around my card base. And then I'm just going to go ahead and add my sequins. There was a lot of copper accents on the flowers and the butterfly, so I thought 3 would just work perfect. And that's card number 1. Here's a close-up. Now for card number 2. I cut out a panel that's slightly smaller than my card base with the white cardstock, and we're going to do some stamping. Now, since the cardstock is textured, I suggest using a MISTI, because this way you can double stamp, or smoother cardstock. You could probably use the reverse side because the reverse side is not textured. But I'm going to stamp my flower, and I'm using my Distress Oxide inks. This is fossilized amber. And I stamped it 3 times, and they were easy to go over, but I thought the MISTI would actually work a lot better. So I'm going to set everything aside and grab my MISTI, place my panel inside my MISTI. Okay, I'm going to kind of play with my second floral placement. I'm going to offset it off my panel just a bit, and then I'll ink that up a few times. And I have to say that this is the prettiest flower image ever. I love the versatility of it. And there's different centers that you can put in also. Now I wanted to add a little bit of a gradient to my flower. This causes dimension, and I like that. So I grabbed some of my worn lipstick, and I just went around the edge of my stamp, and then I just went over that fossilized amber, and it creates a beautiful gradient. Okay, I'll clean off my stamp, and now we're going to stamp the center of the flowers. And like I said, there's 3 different kinds of centers. There's one that's more of a solid image. I'm going to grab that. And I didn't want to use the worn lipstick, so I decided to grab some picked raspberry. It's a darker pink. And I'll stamp the center of the flowers with that. Okay, there's lots of greenery in the stamp set, so I chose this one. I'm going to ink it up with some peeled paint, and we'll stamp that a few times. I'll clean off my stamp, and then we'll just reposition it, and then we'll ink it up again. I actually ending up stamping this 3 times. We're going to go 1 on the bottom. Okay, I'm taking the smaller leaves here. I'm placing them next to the flowers, and then I decided to grab a darker green, so this is Forest Moss. I'll go over my images and stamp them a few times as well. But isn't this the prettiest flower? Well, right now it looks kind of a mess because I am going to add a piece of the ephemera. There's a large floral image, and so it's going to look better, trust me. I'm just going to reposition my 2 leaves again, and then we'll go ahead and ink them up again with some Forest Moss. Lovely. Okay, now here's where I took the center of the flower, but to really make it pop, I'm going to ink it up with some VersaFine Onyx Black ink, and they're little dots, and I think it just brings those flowers to life. Okay, I grabbed the sentiment. Sentiment says, "You help me grow." So pretty. Kind of positioning where I want it. And then here's where I took that ephemera flower. I'm going to actually flip it over and add some dimensional adhesive behind it. And I did grab the little butterfly, but I decided not to use that. We'll save that for another project. I'm just inking up my sentiment, again with some VersaFine Onyx Black ink. And I had already adhered my ephemera flower on my panel, and I stamped the sentiment with the ephemera already on there, and it worked beautifully, so I got lucky. Here's where I decided not to use the butterfly. But I did decide to grab a piece of the pattern paper that had, it's a rosy pink that has the copper polka dots on it. I'm going to mat that on my panel here. And then I'm going to go ahead and grab that center flower piece that we stamped the center of the stamp flowers. I'm going to ink it up again with some black ink and stamp the center of my ephemera flower, just so it all ties together. Okay, we'll flip this over and add some double-sided tape and place that on our card base. And then I went ahead and grabbed 3 sequins, and we're going to glue those down to the front, and that finishes off that card. So pretty. Okay, moving along, excuse me, to card number 3. Now we're going to make a landscape card today. So I took a piece of this watercolor cardstock. Actually, it's pattern paper. No. I added some double-sided tape. It's about a 1-inch strip, a little maybe 1 1/4 inch strip. I'm going to add that to the very bottom of my card base. We'll trim off any excess. For this card, we're going to use some ephemera pieces, so I chose the die cut together sentiment, 2 of the flamingos, which were so cute. I'm going to kind of arrange my scene here. Now I wanted them kind of tucking behind the together, but I didn't want them to get drowned out, so I'm just kind of playing with the placement, and I wanted them right next to each other. And I think that looks great. I'm going to go ahead and grab some double-sided tape. I just tore a thin strip, which nice thing about this tape is it's tearable. It tears nice. And I know if you have tape that you can't tear, it's a little tough because it gummies up your scissors. So this tape is great for that. But I'm adding my flamingos. I'm actually going to pop up the word together and the flamingos all together. So this is how I like to do it. That way I don't have to worry about my placement later on. It's already done for me. I'll flip this over, add some of the foam tape, and I think I used every last drop of this. No, I had a little bit left over. But I am going to go ahead and add that pink measuring tape just to break it up a little bit on the bottom. And I'll add my images there. And then for my sentiment, I chose the ephemera piece that says Love Beyond Measure. It's in that beautiful blue with the copper lettering that matches the flamingos beautifully. I just added some foam tape behind there and placed it right under the together. For bells and whistles, I'm going to again grab 3 of the sequins. I think that's the perfect amount because of all the copper foiling in there. You don't need too much. But I added 3, and that finishes off that card. Super fun. Okay, card number 4. Making sure it opens the right way. We're going to use one of the journaling tags here. I thought about using one of the regular tags that says Celebrate, and then changed my mind. We're going to use that watercolor cardstock again. I'm going to go ahead and tape that down, offsetting it off my card base so it's overhanging. And then I will just trim off the excess. Now for this card, I chose the ephemera piece that says Best, and then the balloons, and then the word Day. I'm just kind of figuring out where I want to put them. And I know I want to attach the balloons to the Best. So we're just going to use a piece of double-sided tape and adhere the balloons. And then we'll flip over the balloons and the Best and add our foam tape. And then we're also going to add foam tape to the word Day. And I think this is the card where I finished off that foam that came, the foam dimensional adhesive that came in the kit. Okay, I wanted to add one more sentiment, so I'm using the sentiment strips here. For this one, I chose Today is All About You. And again, I matted it on some white cardstock to give it a little bit of stability. And then added a piece of foam tape from my stash to pop that up. And then I wanted to use the epoxy buttons. I ended up using the large one that says today, and then there's a smaller one that has a little triangle print on it. I placed that right next to my sentiment. And then that finishes off card number 4. I think the colors are just so pretty. Okay, we're going to move along to card number 5, our final project for today, and I have to use those dies because they were adorable. So I'm going to cut out the house base with white cardstock, and then for the roof I'm going to use some of the copper foiling, and again the roof has embossed detail which creates a beautiful roof. I'm going to use some navy blue cardstock to cut out the window frames. Now there's 5 square windows and then there's one of the triangle, so I need 5 of the smaller squares and then 1 triangle. I used the fancy door, and then using white cardstock I'm going to cut out 2 of my little fences. Lovely. Now I wanted to create a little dimension with my house, so I'm taking a piece of yellow cardstock. I'm just going to make sure it fits behind my house. This way I can pop up my house and place it on the yellow cardstock, and it looks like my windows have a little light behind them. I'm going to use my glue again to add my little window frames, and then I did pop up my copper roof and place that on my house as well, and it looks so cute. I'm going to go ahead and add my house to my yellow cardstock, and I just love the way this turns out. It's adorable. That would make a really cute Christmas tag also. Put a little bit of holly behind it or some snowflakes. Okay, now I grab my card base and I trim down a piece of the navy blue cardstock and also a panel that will fit right inside of my navy blue panel. I'm just going to use my double-sided tape to adhere that. We're going to mat it. The length of these two are the length of my card base, so they're 5.5 inches. It's going to leave me a border on the left and the right. Okay, now I grab some green cardstock. I'm going to just kind of mark it to where I need to trim it down, and then just using my scissors I'm going to create a little grassy hill. And since the cardstock is textured, it works fantastic for grassy hills. I'll just kind of dome it a little bit, and then using my tape I'll just adhere that to the very bottom of my panel. This way my home's a little bit grounded. Now I'm playing with the placement, and I thought it needed just something else. So I grabbed one of the yellow floral ephemera pieces. I'm going to add some tape behind here. I'm actually going to trim it into 2 pieces. I wanted some yellow on the left and the right of the house. So I'm making sure that the place where I trim down is right behind the house. That way you can't even tell. And then I'll go ahead and add tape behind that single flower we cut. And then we're going to go ahead and add our little home. And also we'll glue down our little picket fence, which is just so cute. Okay, everything's glued down. We're going to go ahead and adhere this panel to our card base. Now, I was going to go down the center, but then I decided to offset it to the left a little bit. Lovely. Okay, now I'm going to grab one of the sentiment strips. This says "Life is better with you." These are pretty heavy duty, so all I have to do is add a piece of foam tape behind it. We'll place that right below our little house. And that finished off my last project for today. Well, I hope this if you're a kit subscriber, I hope you enjoy these and gives you some ideas on how to use the kit. But the kits are fantastic. I really enjoyed this. You get stamps, dies, ephemera. It's like a Mac Daddy kit. I really enjoyed it. Links will be in the description area in case you guys are interested. It is a fantastic value, I have to say, too. And they're great for on the go, too. But these are my 5 projects. I wish you a fantastic day. Thanks so much for joining me. We will see you again real soon. Bye-bye.